me play psychic for a second and guess what you're thinking. What is that? And all I have to say to you is, yes. This is a 1996 Toyota Dyna Tri-Cab, and it's a sort of utilitarian vehicle. It's definitely not a sports car. This one we believed was actually used at a ski resort. It still has the ski racks on top. And that's one of the only things that I think you could use something like this for. It has 6 doors, like a 6-foot bed, and it holds 9 people. I don't even know 9 people. And this one only has 60,000 miles on it. This one's finished in this custom white pearlescent paint with like a purplish hue to it. It's very, very interesting, and it looks very cool on such a weird and quirky vehicle like this. After doing some precise measurements, it looks like the bed is actually more like 8 feet long, and it's not 6 feet long. I was wrong. Quite roomy though. The seats are a bit firm though. And the third row back here is massive. Ample room for my 6'5" lanky frame. This Tri-Cab easily has the largest rear seat out of any car that I've ever reviewed, if you can even call this a car. Now, under the hood, or what some people might call a seat, is the 15B. Now, this is the same exact engine that was in the Toyota Mega Cruiser that I just did a video on about 4 weeks ago now. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Anyways, this is the same exact motor, except for this one is not turbocharged. This one is naturally aspirated, and it produces a whopping 115 horsepower and 214 foot-pounds of torque. And it's really not a whole lot to look at. But it does its job, and it does its job well. Now, the first thing you notice about driving the Dyna Tri-Cab is it doesn't feel like you're driving this massive utilitarian type vehicle like it looks like. It of course is a 5-speed manual transmission, thank God, and it shifts smooth. The throw on it is not huge. It's actually relatively short for being a massive truck. Last week I was in a diesel Dodge Ram stick shift, and the shifter was almost as tall as I am. But again, this is a 5-speed manual, and reverse is where first usually is. So it's very interesting to drive. At least it does have a backup beep so that when you're accidentally in reverse, when you think you're in first gear, you know you're in reverse. You don't accidentally let the clutch out and go straight into what's behind you. And for only having 115 horsepower, that 15B engine gets you where you need to go. And you have a manual so that you can downshift when you get to hills and stuff. They're too steep, but this thing gets up and moves right along. Absolutely no problems with the power. It does have a healthy amount of torque, 214 foot-pounds, and that's what matters really in something like this. Now, I should also mention that this is a dually. You can't really see it from the outer when you're looking at it, but if you get underneath and see, it does have dual rear wheels, and that means it can hold 2,000 kilograms in the back there, and that's 4,409.25 pounds to be precise, if you're an American. See, we're at a stoplight, you think you're going into first gear. It's actually reverse, so that buzzer goes off. And that buzzer goes off to warn people behind you that you're backing up, because you really cannot see anything out of the back of this thing. The rear view mirror is looking straight at the third row, and the side view mirrors, well, the vehicle's too long to even see the end. First gear is ultra short in this. You might as well start in second. Second's pretty short too, though. Wow, the police were behind us that entire time, and I could not even see them. Thank God I am a law-abiding citizen. This thing really does get up and move where you need it to go. I mean, it's not a rocket ship. I'm not calling this thing a Corvette, but you'd look at it and you would think that it can't get out of its own way, really. Do a little acceleration here. There's 10 miles an hour. There's 12. Fourth gear. There's 15 miles an hour. 0 to 60 is over with in about 8 years. Then again, we wouldn't know how fast we're going in miles per hour because everything is in metric. It's in kilometers an hour. The speedometer's in kilometers an hour. This thing really is incredibly smooth for what it is. The long wheelbase makes it a smooth ride. It's really not uncomfortable. The seating position is a little erect for my liking, and I don't think there's any way to recline it. No, there's not. But that's not a massive deal. Big thanks to Northeast Auto Imports for allowing me to review this 1996 Toyota Dyna Tri-Cab. This is probably the only one I'll ever drive. There's only a handful of these in the United States, so it's very cool to get to experience it. I'll include links down in the description below to their website and social media so you can see their other very wide array of quirky and interesting vehicles that they have available for sale. And I will see you guys in the next one. Happy motoring!